The first thing that we want to do is we want to position the buttons. And so we're going to do that by writing a new selector. I'm going to go ahead and come into the style.css file. And here I'm going to create a new selector called hello div.slider p.navigation. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to set the position to absolute. And after setting the position, we want to go ahead and set the right attribute to 15 pixels and the top property to 20 pixels. So I'll go ahead and type in right. And like I said, we'll set that to 15 pixels. And then we'll set top to 20 pixels. So what you can do is save the style sheet file. After saving the style sheet file, go ahead and test the index page in Chrome or Safari, and the buttons should be positioned correctly. The next thing that we want to do is we want to get the arrow images to appear. So there's a couple different ways that we can do this, but in all honesty, the best bet is to use the ICO class in the F2FW framework, just like we did with these social icons. Now, the problem right now is the image for the social icons only contain the social icons. Let me show you what I mean. If we come back to Dreamweaver, and inside of Dreamweaver, I can come over to the Assets panel, you can see ICO.png, which is the image that gets included when you implement the ICO class. Right now, we only have the social icons, but what we want to do right now is we want to add those arrows to this file. Then we can use that class and just change the position of the arrows. And again, the benefit of this is we're downloading the one file and only calling it one time, so it's less work on the server side. All we're doing here on the client side is positioning this image to have the content that we want to appear. So let's come back into Photoshop. And what I want you to do inside of Photoshop is open up that ICO.png file. Go to the File menu, choose Open. You want to make sure that you navigate to the appropriate directory, which is the Images directory, which is inside of Includes, which is inside of Blank. So go ahead and do that. Highlight ICO and open it. Once you open it, we have those two social icons. We're going to have to increase the overall image size. But before we do, what I'd like to do is get these arrows into their own document. So if we come over to the Layers panel, we can see that we have the Page panel set. And inside the Page panel set, we have the Hello panel set. And in there, we have div.article, and in there, we have div.slider. Finally, we see the Buttons layer group, and we have the arrow pointing to the left and the arrow pointing to the right. Now, if we take a look at the arrow pointing to the left, right now its opacity is set to 60%, which ultimately would be the inactive state. So for right now, we're just going to go ahead and crank this up to 100%. And we're going to select all, Control-A or Command-A on the Macintosh, and then we're going to copy, Command-C or Control-C. Then you can come up to the File menu, and under the File menu, you can choose New. When you choose New, you'll notice that the width and the height have been already determined for you. We're going to go ahead and set the resolution to 72 pixels per inch. The only thing that I want to modify here is the width. I want to double it. I want to go ahead and type in 24 pixels. Then you can go ahead and click OK. Then you can paste it. Once you paste it, you want to tuck this over to the left-hand side as much as you can. I'm just going to use the arrow keys on the keyboard. If you need to, you can come over and zoom into the arrow to make sure that the entire arrow is visible, which in this case it is. So we're in good shape there. What we want to do next is come over to monoplate.psd again. This time we want to select the next arrow. With that selected and the selection still in place, if it's not, just select all, Control-A or Command-A, and copy it, Control-C or Command-C. Come back over to that untitled document and paste it, and just move it over to the left. So now we have both of the arrows in this document. Now what we want to do is select all. Control-A. Well, actually, let's merge this first, then we'll select all. We can come up to the top right-hand corner, and we can flatten the image. Then we can select all, Control-A or Command-A. And we want to come over to ICO.png. If you remember, the overall image size here, if we take a look at this in pixels, is 24 by 19, which means we need to increase this image size. So if we come up to the image menu, we can choose canvas size, and we want to increase the height. I believe I said the height was 19 pixels, so quick math tells me that this will be 35. And we want this to expand downward. The width, obviously, is wide enough because we need 24 pixels wide. So if we go ahead and click OK, it increases the canvas size. We can go ahead and paste those arrows. Looks like it only picked up one, so I'm going to go ahead and undo that. In fact, I'm just going to delete this layer. Then we'll return back to Untitled 1. Make sure I copy everything here. Go to the Edit menu and choose Copy. Then we can come back to ico.png, go to the Edit menu and choose Paste. Now we have both of those. We just want to position them directly underneath the social icons and all the way over to the left. I think that looks pretty good. Again, choose the Zoom tool and zoom into this, and it does look pretty good. So you're ready to save this file. You can just go to the File menu and choose Save. Once you choose Save, we want to call this ico.png. So we're going to have to replace the existing ico.png. So when you click Save, that dialog box will appear. We do, in fact, want to replace it, so go ahead and click OK. For our purposes right now, smallest slow is fine. We don't want to interlace it. Go ahead and click OK. The image has now been updated. What we want to do next in the next movie is write the necessary CSS to have these arrows appear inside of our buttons.